What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is Preview Picks, the weekly show where I go over all the new books coming out on Wednesday, give you an idea what they're all about, and whether there's something you should talk to your comic book shop about. To start off with, we're going to go with independent titles, and we're going to bring Aftershock's Animosity number 3 to the forefront. This is a series I've kind of been sleeping on, and it's all about animals that have suddenly been awakened and can now talk and think and unfortunately get angry as well, so that doesn't necessarily bode well for the humans that have been taking care of them, abusing them, or hunting them down. So I'm going to have to pick up issues 1 through 3, and 3 is coming out on Wednesday, so definitely give it a look and see if it's something you might be interested in. From Image, we have Deadly Class number 23, and that's from Rick Remender. I became a really big fan of Remender thanks to Tokyo Ghost, as well as his new series, 7 to Eternity, which I think is amazing. So Deadly Class is definitely something to pick up. I'm going to be grabbing the trades eventually so that way I can catch up and get to a bit more current spot on it. Speaking of a book that I'm a little bit behind on, though, we also have Walking Dead 160, which is coming out, and that is the top seller from Image, hands down, no questions asked. Every single month, this book buries everything else in the independent titles. I'd say that with the debut of the most recent season, you're going to see a lot of anticipation around this particular book, and definitely one to go check out if you haven't been catching up on the series. We also have Wicked and Divine number 23, and this is a start of a new arc called the Imperial Phase. So I'm really interested to see what this one's all about. I did pick up the one-shot a little while ago, and I have a few trades, but I haven't really been keeping up with it, but this is my time to get back into it. To finish off at Image, we have Mayday number 1, and this is a scene set in the 1970s regarding two Soviet insurgent spies that are dealing with things like, good sex, bad drugs, and betrayal. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's a small mini-series and definitely something to take a look at to see if it might be up your alley. We also have Marvel's Moon Knight number 8, where Mark Spector has suddenly lost track of one of his personalities. The way that Jeff Lemire has been writing this book and the art from Greg Smallwood has been great, but we also see the introduction of other artists that carry on the story of these various other personalities. So that makes it one of the most interesting books out of Marvel right now. We also have Champions number 2 coming out, which was one of my surprise picks from Marvel Now 2.0. Overall, I really like the way that the first issue played out, and now we get to see Cyclops try and join the team. Not necessarily sure he's going to be successful with that. But speaking of Cyclops, we have his older counterpart in Death of X number 3, and him and Emma really are unfurling their plan. And I'm still really interested to see what kind of twist is associated with this. It's a book that I'm not necessarily sure why I'm sticking with, but I want to see where it goes because it is setting up a lot of future events for the Marvel X-Men universe. We also have Fool Killer number 1 in the number 1 issues coming from Marvel, and I don't really know what to think about that. Unfortunately, it's a person that was a mercenary that's now a psychiatrist, and if he doesn't treat the people properly, they get to die. That's at least the synopsis. It doesn't really grab my interest, but I want to let you guys know that it's out there. We also have Occupy Avengers number 1, and that's from David Walker, who was writing Nighthawk, and is also writing the really good Power Man and Iron Fist series. And this is really taking a look at that more street-level common man kind of support system that Clint Barton's Hawkeye is going to be providing. And then we have an all-new lineup of Avengers in Avengers number 1. And this is going to be pretty interesting because we see the start of the Kang War. And the insinuation is that nobody is going to survive this. They're all going to be dead. And who's going to be dead? Well, we've got Sam Wilson's Captain America, we have the Vision, we have Thor, we have Spider-Man, which looks like Peter Parker, as well as Hercules and the Wasp. So definitely a book that I'm going to be checking in on to see if it's something that I want to hold on to for a while. But the big book from Marvel that's debuting is the Unworthy Thor from Jason Aaron. So this is the Odinson hunting down, trying to regain his honor, and possibly finding an alternative source of power, maybe another Mjolnir. This is a book that I really want to check out and that you should be looking out for too. Now that we're done with the debuts at Marvel, we're going to go back to DC where we have Batman number 10. So this continues the I Am Suicide arc. So in part 2, we see the entire group get together and head off to Santa Prisca to take on Bane and the rest of his cohorts. This is a series that's really kind of getting into its stride. Tom King's doing a killer job, and Mikhail Janin's art is fantastic. So definitely go pick this one up. And if you've still got to get Batman number 9, do that as well. As a one-shot, we have Catwoman, the Election Night, which is a single issue, and then it also includes a little mini from the Prez storyline that was a mini-series. So this is one of those that you can pick up, you can not pick up. If you're a fan of Prez, then it's definitely something you're going to want to grab. If you're a fan of Catwoman, you can grab it too, but it's one of those things where your mileage may vary. And then we get to Green Arrow number 10, and in Green Arrow number 10, we see kind of like the Mystery on the Orient Express, except it's Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Diggle on some sort of underground railroad that's been used to smuggle drugs. So that could be pretty cool too. Green Lantern's number 10 takes off with the Phantom Ring Part 2, and with the introduction of the person that's going to be acting as the antagonist in the last issue, I'm really excited to see where this goes, especially after dropping the book after the first few issues. This is something that's really grabbing me as far as a story arc. Definitely recommend that one. We also have Nightwing number 8, and this is the conclusion of the Rise of the Raptor story arc, which really started everything. And the big thing about this is that this includes Batman, because if you've read last issue, well, he's unfortunately involved. He couldn't really do anything to help it. But this is going to be a really great conclusion, and I can't wait to see what they do with that character. We also have Shade the Changing Girl number 2, which is coming out for DC's Young Animal imprint. And I know that a few of you out there are really hoping that, Shade's in good hands, and this is going to be your best indication of what's going on. As Shade kind of finds herself in her human body's host, she realizes that everybody really hates this girl, that she's kind of inside. So we're going to see how that kind of develops. We also have Sheriff of Babylon number 12, and Sheriff of Babylon has been a very serious Vertigo book with a whole hell of a lot of violence and a whole hell of a lot of great writing. And I can't recommend grabbing this one enough simply because it is the end of the series. There are no more after this, so this is the conclusion of another run of Tom King books. Also, this is going to be a really good starting point for Batman number 15, and you're going to have to ask why, but that's because Mitch Gerrits, who did the art for this book and worked with Tom King, is on Batman number 15 as the artist. So I'm really excited to see where that Batman arc goes, and the conclusion of this is going to be a great book anyway. But to finish everything off at DC and in comics overall, my most anticipated book is Superman number 10. So Superman number 10 is all about family, and when we say family, we're talking about the Superman and Superboy relationship, as well as Batman and Robin's relationship as father and son, and how those two teams of two people really kind of oppose and counter each other. So this is going to be the first time that we see Superboy really interacting with other superheroes on a larger scale, as well as somebody his own age who's also in the superhero game. I really can't wait to see what happens with this, because Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason have been crushing Superman. It is amazing. I love this whole father-son dynamic. Since we looked at Teen Titans and we know Batman might not be the best dad, but Superman has just been super caring and supportive of his son as he's going through these trying times. This is making for a really good story arc, and I can't wait to see what they do with this. Highly recommend you guys check it out. So that's it for the books that I'm picking up this week, but I want to know what you guys are grabbing too, so hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know if I missed anything or if there's something I should check out. As always, if you like what you see, hit that like button down below. You can subscribe right there to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.